Okay. Yep. All right. We are rolling. So thank you for doing this. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate the time to sit down and have a chat with you about different things. So first, just can you tell us a little bit about like who you are and what led you down the whole shamanic path, and yeah, just a bit about your life journey up to this point.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this space. It's really an honor to have the chance to speak with you, have you here in La Pacha, and spend some really brotherhood time.
Absolutely.
And I think this spiritual journey start like when I was really young, around 5 years old. When I was a child, my sister passed away, and my mom started trying to understand death, and especially like liberate or and heal some things that some guilty that she had with that process. So in that journey, my mom found a school here in Cuenca. The name of the school, it was a school of self-realization. And when my mom founded this place, she started getting in touch a lot with the yoga and meditation. But in the space, they open also like classes for kids. And she introduced me to these classes, and in those classes, they start like sharing yoga and meditation and something that I didn't knew the name at that time, but it was metaphysic. So as a child, for me, was really natural start seeing energies, in the sky, to see the prana, to see the auras in other kids or in the people. And it was really nice because the classes that they were given to us, it was telepathic classes for kids. So they teach us how to speak telepathic with other kids.
Oh wow.
Or really like learn to meditate, or how to breathe, breathing practices. And my mom, I don't remember, I wish I remember this, but my mom said that because she was like a volunteer in the classes, and she said that in one class she saw me and other kids levitate,
Wow.
and so I don't know, this energy part was always like, since I was a child, part of my life.
Yeah. So you were introduced to it from a young age, pretty
Yeah.
much about the whole like spiritual world.
Yeah, no, and for me it was like a normal thing,
Yeah.
but I didn't really like took it like something that I was gonna do, as a service to the world. And then I became a teenager, a good teenager, so I focused my life in sports, friends, and girls.
As we all do.
Yeah. And like I completely put those things out of my life. But my mom, she was like that bridge that keeps me connected with other religions, and I was always involved with people that have another perspective or point of view, or about God and life and energies and spirits and the spirituality. You know. But when I was around 22, 23 years old, um, I had my first experience with entheogen plants. I think that's the correct word in English.
I know what you're talking about. I forget the name, and yeah, I forget the word in English as well.
Well, with power plants,
Yeah.
And the first master spirit that was in my life was the mushrooms, and the mushrooms was completely life changing. Like, put me again in a spiritual journey. The mushrooms helped me to remember again that I was a spirit first, and that give it the time also to working my own consciousness and working my own spirit and working in my own humanity, um, without attachments, was really the journey. So then I start this whole process of, that is until now, I think, as a human in conscience, you're always looking consciousness. And yeah, that was like, yeah, 10 years ago. And since then until now, I've been searching and understanding and going deep in this process to understand the path of the elders, and not just in the medicine. For me, it has been more a connection with all the traditions. I think the medicine is just a part of really, the whole traditions, the whole root that connect us to the earth. And for me also has been learning, how to embrace something that the elders call the summa causae, that is the good living. And the good living is not just the medicine, is learning how to have a, harmonic life with earth, learning that, or the relationship that we have with the earth is also in the way that we live, how we build our houses, how we farm our food, how we taking care of the water, the kind of energies that we use in these times, and the way that we relate with the community, with our families, with the people in general, with the animals, with the plants, with the trees. And yeah, so I'm still learning, I'm still understanding, how is this relationship really. And yeah.
Yeah. That's led you up to this point.
Yeah, now I'm in this point in my life where I realized that really what the people really needed is to embrace first, that we are all one.
Mm-hmm.
We are all family.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important medicine,
Yeah.
and the most important center to start this journey. Like, we're all together, and when I say we're all one, is because, yeah, like we have all alive. We're all in this life, so we cannot think that one life or other life is more important than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And since this point, like, everything matter,
Mm.
and so everything is, we can really give it the important to the things, and understand all the situations, and from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that put me to this point to create this cultural non-profit that it calls La Pacha Casa de Saberes. And with this cultural non-profit, what we try to bring is that summa causae,
Mm-hmm.
this good living, learning really how to live in this world, and understanding that is another way, that we can really have the chance to live in peace, in freedom. But for embrace the freedom, we need to understand the responsibilities and how we are relating,
Mm-hmm.
learning that we depend of, of nature. Really, we are not the owners of anything.
Mm.
Actually, is a blessing that the nature can share with us everything that is here.
Mm.
And so learning how to use it in a good way, those natural resources, those gifts. So here we use the science of permaculture a lot. That has been something that, for me, permaculture is a beautiful bridge between the science that we have in these times and the ancient wisdom, and understand, that connection, really embrace that spirituality in the science, and em- embrace that respect
Mm.
to the everything, you
Yeah.
know. And in also this space, one of the main things that we do, that is like has been my calling and my passion and service, that is help to the people in this journey to liberate from the past with the medicines. So I've been working with medicines for like sharing to the people like 6 years now. And for me, I start realizing that the real use of the medicines is, it's just a tool in the spiritual journey that the people is looking for, that helps to the people really to release the past. Is in the past where exist really the traumas, it's in the past where really the people exist the attachments, the anger, the resentment, all those things. And something that happened before is what is making you feel sick or not good with you,
Yeah.
or not good with your present, not in peace with who you are. So I start learning from the elders and from my own journey, my personal experience and my personal healing, that how I can really use the master plants and other medical therapies that helps the people to release those things. And something really nice that I really like from this path that I learned from an elder. He always used to say that what is really nice of the ancient medicine is that it's really simple. It's simple, just a fire, simple, just water, just the stones. It's really simple. It's just a plant.
Yeah.
It's simple. But the medicine that we have, that I'm not against to it. Actually, I think both in these times can really found really good support to help the people. But the medicine that we have in the hospitals and everything is really complicated. We needed a lot of machines. Bring the medicines from another part, and if it's complicated, makes everything more complicated. Makes the healing complicated.
Yeah.
In my own experience. But if the medicine is simple, makes the healing simple, all easy to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in our society, we sort of lent much more towards Western medicine and pharmaceuticals and all these things. I believe we're starting to return back to earth, back towards simple medicines, towards plant medicines, towards traditions and ceremony. What's your perspective on that? Where we are as a society, where we're going, and what we need? Because a lot of people seem to have a lot of issues and trauma. Like you look at the depression rates and anxiety rates and mental illness rates in just say, especially Western countries like the United States and Western Europe and Australia. And I sort of have the belief that it's because these cultures don't have a lot of tradition, or it's sort of being buried. So it's sort of lopsided as people are too reliant on science and pharmaceuticals and Western healthcare, but it's missing an entire dimension, which is the spiritual side of it. So how do you believe we can find more balance in our lives, more equilibrium, how we can be happier as people? And what's your perception of that?
Well, something that an elder used to say to me, and I'm really agree with that, is that the only thing that humanity really needs in these times is love. That's the only medicine that we really need. It has been a process as a humans where we have a lot of sadness, anger, wars in our history that change it all, and put humanity in a positions where is a lot of fear behind all these situations. So most of the people really act because of fear, and it's because society says to you this is good. So because of the fear to the society, you take it. But I think humanity really need this process. Humanity really need this process to go to that point that you said, okay, like this is not working really. It's not working anymore. We're not going really anywhere with this. And I can see and I can really believe that these new generations as us, or the new generations that are coming behind us, they have more clear the path. It's not the same as my grandparents or my parents. That my dad, he's the kind of person that something happened, you're feeling sick, you have problems in the stomach, and immediately to the doctor and receive your pills. But I can see me or my sister or my brother, they prefer other things because they are realizing that actually the pills is make it worse, the thing.
Often, yeah.
And it's not because the medicine is something bad, it's because the quantity that of the chemical that you needed for release. Our body works with chemicals, and the plants have the chemicals. When we use a natural herb, for example, for stomach pain, the quantity of the chemical that you have is manageable in the body. But when you take a pill that have, you know, multiply for 100 the quantity of chemicals that you can take it from a herb. So it's manageable from the body, but creates also another problem because the body needs to use a lot of energy to manage that quantity of chemicals, and makes to the body to depend of a lot of chemicals to start doing the work later. So I can see, my sister, my brother, and I, that we don't drink, we don't take pills. We prefer another thing, something more natural. And I see in other persons the same, like they are looking these alternative medicines and realizing. I think that the most beautiful part of this process to embrace the ancient medicine is understand that it's not just the physical part, you know. And I think that's the part that the medical process is missing, is the emotional part too, is the life experience part to the people that is there, is the personal process that the person is going through, is the mind part also that the people have. So all those parts, the medical, like that we have now, the modern medicine is missing. So you cannot resolve all the problems that the people is having just with a pill.
Of course.
You need to embrace it all.
Yeah.
So I start really trusting in the ancient medicine because a curandero, a healer, is not just the person that is giving you the medicine. Is also your psychologist, the person that is really listening to you, the person that is really, feeling you and listen what is really happening in your life and help you to understand, your own process. Because the not what I start understanding in this journey is that nothing can really help you to heal. It's just you. The other things are tools that helps to open doors, energetic doors, open things in your energetic body. But at the end, it's just you the one that listen what the body is saying. It's just you the one that is listening what your spirit is saying, what your heart is saying, what the energy in your body is telling to you. And you are the only one that can choose. Because maybe the medicine is telling you like, oh, you have to learn to put boundaries in your relationships, but it depends on you if you put the boundaries there. You are the only one that can do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that a common misconception that a lot of people believe when they start doing ceremonies or looking towards plant medicines. They think it'll do all the work for you. Like you'll take ayahuasca once and suddenly then you're healed from everything and your life's going to be perfect for the rest of your life. But the reality of it is, we need, like, it can illuminate stuff and show us the path forward. It can show us a lot of things, but we need to put in the work. Where, like, as human beings in a physical reality, we need to actually put in the effort to bring these changes to fruition. And yeah, I've met quite a lot of people that they look towards plant medicines. They're like, yeah, I'm going to do a ceremony and I'll be like cured for the rest of my life and it'll solve everything. I'm like, no, it's not really the way it works. Like, as you said, they're tools. They can show us things. They can help us connect to a deeper part of who we are, to our soul, or to God, so to speak. But like, we do have physical bodies. We live in a physical reality. We still need to bring all these changes into our world and, work with sort of what we're shown, what we're given.
Yes. A really good friend that I used to work with, he always said that drinking medicine is a discipline, like any kind of a spiritual path. You don't go to the first class of yoga and you're flexible completely. It's impossible. You cannot. So it's the same thing when you go and ask guidance to these plants, because that's really what we go to do. We don't go there pretending or thinking that the medicine is going to heal us. The medicine is going to give you guidance in what is making you sick. And you are the one that is choosing during the ceremony to let it go or not. And to keep yourself clean during, the real ceremony, that is when there is no medicines. But it takes time, takes time really to go deep into your own process and learning, understanding your body, when you need to be more in touch with the medicine, when you need a rest, when you need a break. The same with yoga, the same with meditation, takes time, takes practice, takes discipline. And especially it takes willingness, to keep moving forward in this personal journey of self-discovering. For me, I've been in so many ceremonies in my life, and I cannot say that I know everything that the medicine can show me, because the medicine all the time is showing you and guiding you in different things, because I'm in different process in my personal life. So the medicine helps me to understand and guide me in some things, and it's always different. I'm in a different process, but if I'm in the same process over and over and over again, it means that I'm not doing the work.
Yeah.
So the people really need to understand what it really is to be in touch with these medicines. It's not it's a sacred process. It is, and but especially we need to realize that it's a moment with yourself. Really have the opportunity to know yourself, be open and trusting in the process, and trusting really. For some reason, your soul is you are choosing to be in touch with these medicines. So I would just recommend to the people to be really clear in what they are looking for. I've been realizing that actually the medicine works better in you, and it works better in the people when you really have a purpose.
Clear purpose, yeah.
What are you really want to work in your life? It's not necessarily that you go to take medicine to heal some kind of sickness. Remember that the sickness is the last step of a whole journey of the energy.
The manifestation
is the manifestation. Is the last step, but everything starts in the thoughts. The way that you think, the way that you perceive, the way that you see the world, the way that you see the relation, the way that you see yourself. And I really like something that an elder used to say. He always said, be careful with what you think, because what you think is what you believe. And what you start believing is what you start feeling. And what you start feeling is what you start expressing. And what you start expressing is what you start manifesting in your life, you know?
Yeah.
And that becomes your reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they're all forms of energy, our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs, our mindsets. And, if we're constantly thinking about how like we're constantly focused on the past or on traumas or things that have happened to us or on the negativity of the world, then okay, we need to face the reality of it and do the healing, but also we can manifest more of it and create a life sort of circulate in sort of these negative constructs and these negative things, because everything's energy in the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything's a form of energy, and we need to learn to sort of clean up that energy and focus it towards creating a better life for ourselves and other people.
Yeah.
And humanity as a whole.
Learn how to redirect, because where you are really putting your attention, is what are you really calling to your life. So if you put your attention in the problem, that's what you keep it. But if you put your attention in the solution, that's what are you calling, what are you creating. So really come to have this relationship with the medicines, with the master plants, is to understand that the medicine is going to show you all the steps, all the root, the problem or the situation that you are involved in your life, or these bad habits that maybe you can have that is creating this, that you're not feeling in peace. And so it's not just physical. That's what I was saying. Like I really like these kind of medicines because help you to see all of it, and helps you to keep it in that process. Keep it in that process. Keep it in that process. And there is one point. I don't know if you really, in some moment, you stop, drinking medicine. But what I really believe is that in some point you learn how to use the medicine in a better way. It's like the yoga. You don't need to make it like the whole hour of yoga or the whole hour of meditation when you really know how to meditate. You just sit and you know how to in, or with the yoga, you know immediately what kind of movements can help you to release or liberate, something that is in the muscles or in the bones. Or the same with the medicine. You don't need it like a lot of medicine, a lot of quantities of medicine.
It's a learning curve, how to work with it, how to work with the energies and the spirits.
Yeah.
So something I wanted to ask you is, so different medicines are different spirits, right?
Yes.
So what exactly is a spirit? How is a spirit different to like a soul? And like what is a spirit? Because coffee is a spirit as well, is it?
Yeah.
Water is a spirit.
Yes.
Like what about like the elements? Like I know Mother Earth is a spirit as well. So what exactly in your definition or your beliefs, what actually is a spirit?
Well, I don't think I have like a specific like explanation of it, but there was something that happened in my experience, in my personal experience, that helped me the opportunity to understand how it works. So everything is inside of the mind of God. Everything is inside of the conscience of God. Everything. So you can imagine that the conscience of God is all this part. And the souls is each one of the neuronal connections. So the moment where the nerves connect, there is a soul.
Yeah.
So can you imagine like your mind, your brain, that's God's mind. And each one of the connections, of the neuronal connections that you have in your brain is a soul. And the souls have the opportunity to embrace like a lot of information, a lot of consciousness. And the soul is divided to spirits. The soul divided in spirits, and the spirits is divided in bodies. So a soul can have many spirits, and a spirit can have many bodies, can be in many bodies.
Okay. So, like, for example, if you connect with the spirit of, say, a plant, let's say, like, Wachuma, that spirit can connect to many different souls at the same time because, just say, many different people are drinking it. That's the same spirit, correct? That you connect into, or
Not just with a specific souls. I think because we are all inside of the mind of God can connect with everything.
Yeah.
You know, some people say like, "Oh, the medicine is not for everybody." I don't believe that. What I believe is that the medicine is for everybody, but in their times.
Okay.
There is a time for that.
When they feel the calling.
When they feel the call. Yeah. It's not when somebody push you to do it or just because I want it.
Yeah. So, what is your definition of God? What is God?
Well, God is
loaded question.
Yeah, for me, God is everything. God is the conscience that exists in everything. Everything have a conscience. Everything perceive everything, even a wall, even everything.
Do you believe God is some sort of like intelligent being that is actively creating different dimensions and realms and different things, or like of course we can't really conceptualize God because it's so far beyond us, but I'm just trying to get like some idea because the way I sort of see it is that, and I sort of perceive like God as, imagine like a ball of consciousness. The deepest layer of consciousness is connection with everything. That's where we can, or people can access these states of totality and just, there's no separation, there's no duality. It's just like everything just is. You can't put labels on anything. But the way I sort of see it is that there's different dimensions, which is sort of like the outer shells, which God sort of manifests itself in to undergo experience and essentially like experience more. So, like, especially with dimensions, which is another concept that's pretty hard to comprehend because, like when you're thinking about the spiritual realms or the astral planes, like they don't have time, they don't have matter, they don't have form. These are all constructs of our dimension. So did God create different dimensions for like consciousness to undergo experience, like different stages, or like, do you have any insights on sort of how this reality works, how dimensions work, how we are connected to everything, or like why we're even here in the first place? What are we experiencing?
Well, it's really complex.
Yes, it is.
But I really like something that came to me at once and was asking to myself, like, who is God? Like, what is God? And the answer was everything that you can imagine and everything that you can because God don't have limitations. There's no a limit for God. God could be whatever God wants. And why we are here in this plan? Well, because God wants to experience humanity. It's that simple.
Yeah. So we're all aspects of God experiencing.
We are an aspect of God experience. Or in a more simple answer, like a elder that I used to work with, she always said it, because he can. That's why we're here. Because God wanted and can is that we are here, So the dimensional part is have different names or different works to explain these things that we need to like be conscious about it. For example, in the ancient wisdom that we have here in the Andes, they never call it dimension. they call worlds.
Okay.
So it was different worlds,
Mm.
and how you can really understand those worlds work? Well, you need to start relating with those. So he was saying that exist different worlds in the same plane, that you can be conscious about it or you cannot. Even and also in your same body, you have the world of your ideas. That's a world. You have the world of your emotions. That's another world or another dimension. You have the world of your instinct. That's another world. You have the world of your heart. That's another world. You have the world of the energetic body. That's another world, another dimension. There are many dimensions manifesting in the same moment, in the same place. And this is an art, learning to listen and understand how these energies are moving in the same moment, in the same time, and giving you a answer to something.
Yeah.
And the same is happened here, not necessarily. Sometimes we try to go too far, and understand the spiritual world. But we are forgetting that actually here we have a lot of spirits living life experience. And here are really the answers, I always have this, when I start my personal journey, I start trying to experience a lot, like going all the time as much as I can to the spirits, to the spiritual world, and be there and try to learn there and understand there and embrace information there. And then I had the opportunity to meet a shaman in the spiritual world that he said to me, there's nothing that you have to learn from here, because as soon as you die, you're going to remember everything. You came from here. Your real process is learning there.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing, like we're born here, then we, go into these spiritual pursuits and like try and get back.
Yeah.
Sort of seems ironic because I bet like on the other side we're like, hey, you're here for a reason, stop coming back.
Yeah. And he said me, it does it, but I was like, but why I'm there? And he just said me, like, simple, doesn't matter. You are there already. Doesn't matter, you are there already, just experience. So I started doing that really, and embracing the dimensions that we have here, and start really relating with the spirits, the world of the spirits that they have here, understanding how is the spirit of the animals, the spirit of the birds, the dimension of the birds, the dimension of the dogs, the dimension of the cats, the dimension of the fishes, the dimension of the foxes, all the animals, and the same, the dimension of the trees. And each tree have a dimension, because there are many trees, and the same with the plants. So understanding that dimensions and how they work is what we really needed in these times. That's really the dimensions and the worlds that we have to put attention with, and that's how we can really understand our own dimension. That's why humanity doesn't understand our own world and who we really are, is because we are not really understanding that our world is and all, something really beautiful that comes from the Bible, and they say that God created Adam and Eve because he needs somebody to appreciate the creation, to relate with the creation, to see the place.
And if we fucked it up,
and we are not doing it that, we're trying to understand something different. We lose the focus. So as soon as we start returning and really seeing these worlds and these dimensions that existed here, we are gonna really understand our own dimension and our own world, and we're gonna receive all the answers. and the simplicity, of humanity, because humans actually are really simple, but we needed to complicate it to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to be that way. Like spiritual pursuit seems to just bring you back to the present. It's like the underlying message is just be present, enjoy life, experience. Like I don't know if there's anything more necessarily that we need to do besides just experience life, because I think that's what it's about, right? Just experiencing it. Then everything else is a bonus in some sort of way. If we can be at service and contribute and help humanity, that's good. But at the bottom line is like we're here to just experience consciousness in this form.
Yes.
As human beings going through these messy experiences and not knowing what to do, and yeah, it's interesting thinking about like spirituality. I spent a lot of time trying to like understand it, which can be a flaw in its own, because there's always a message that sort of brings you back, and it's like, hey, just live your life and live it well and be happy. But then there's another part of my mind that's just super curious, and I keep going back. Then especially like when you have these experiences, which like for me, I've had a few pretty like intense experiences, which are generally rare, but like astral projection or connecting to a spirit guide, and I'll see something that's just like, it blows my mind, and like, oh, what is this? Where I experience emotions or things that I didn't even know I was capable of, like states of love or bliss or even fear, like going through a rebirthing process. But there's just a lot out there, and it seems like the more you discover, the more you, I guess, search, the more you experience in a way. How do you feel about that?
I think that the spiritual world is really, in the way that I start understanding, is that the spiritual world is manifested in the way have a specific language that is just for you.
Yeah.
It's a unique way that the spiritual world can manifest to you, to show you the things. They cannot explain the things in the same way to all the people, especially because it doesn't matter if we because in this life we still having this connection to our human body. We perceive the things also with connected to a human experience. We cannot. Hasta luego, vecina. We cannot put us apart of this human experience. Well, who knows how it's gonna be when we don't have this body?
Yeah.
Maybe the spiritual experience in the spiritual world, it would be completely different. But because of this connection, the spirits use a specific language just for you, to explain you the things that you needed. Realizing actually that both are a manifestation of the same consciousness, and both are part of the same journey. The soul is living to understand and embrace that consciousness that you can embrace. So both, I think that's something that I really believe, that both are related. Everything that is happening here and everything that happened in the spiritual world, with your own experience, with your own projections, with everything is related to a certain thing that you have to learn in this human experience. So it's not a different thing. Everything is part of the same journey. And some people have that ability, some people have this ability really to, first of all, embrace that we are spirits and don't be afraid of step into it. And other people don't have that, like opportunities in this life, and they experience it all since a human, just this plane, per se. And yeah, it's like, it's really difficult to say it. For example, I'm gonna put an example, like when people listen a ceremony, and and they drink ayahuasca, and the spiritual world is open for everybody, and two persons in the ceremony, they see a snake, you know I cannot go and say like, oh, the snake, it means this, and it's for you both.
It's different.
It's different for every person, because for example, for some person can signify something that is really connected with the life that, or what that person is experiencing, and that snake in this other person can be connected with something of the ancestors of the person. It's just an example. But it's true, those things happen in the ceremonies. So specifically, like, trying to explain the spiritual world in like human, in a sense, a human perception is difficult, because the spiritual world is just vibration.
And everything sort of vibration manifests into different forms, and
takes different forms. It depends your language. For some people, it manifested with figures. With other persons, manifested just in voice or sounds or colors or feelings. Some people feel the spirits. Some people can see them. Some people can listen them. Some people can do all of that.
Do you think these are, like, some people have different, people have different spiritual gifts and abilities and things that they can cultivate. Do you think, how do you develop gifts, or how do you learn to interpret or tap into these, I guess, a deeper part of your soul nature, or these vibrations? Because, like, you're pretty good at seeing, like, energies and stuff around people, right, when you do cleansings. And so is there a specific time that, like, you develop these things? Is there specific trainings? Is it just because your soul's ready to, and you're remembering how to do things from past lives? Or like, how do spiritual gifts work? How do people actually learn to tap into these different dimensions of experience or different worlds?
I think those powers is who we really are. Like, it's part of our humanity, so I don't think it's something that you gain it. I think it's just who you are. What happened is that again, it's like when you take conscience about it, can take you many lives, can take you just one. If you are really conscious of what are you feeling, what are you perceiving, because it's there, the powers is there, the spirits are there, the energy, the frequencies is there. It's not that you're going to another place. It's not that you travel far to find the spirits. The spirits and the energies are moving just right here, right now. But if you are really clear perceiving those, the spirit of the wind is moving right now here. But people, sometimes they are not conscious about it.
Not paying attention, not aware of it.
Not paying attention. Even sometimes, and that's why I'm saying, like, the real work is here. Taking consciousness of the spirits that are moving here. How you want to perceive the spirits in the spiritual world if you are not even able to perceive the spirits here? How many times in the day you really up your head and see, the spirit of the sun, or the spirits of the clouds, the spirit of the moon, the stars, the spirits of the stars. We're not really perceiving those things, So everything is really be open and take consciousness of who you are. As more conscious of who you are, more clear are those psychic powers, because it's who we are.
So you're saying everyone innately has these abilities, it's just a matter of our consciousness being aware of or I guess focusing our consciousness on, what we actually want to see or what we want to experience, and then that will manifest into our lives more so, or it's
not necessarily is a manifestation, It is what it is. The spirits are there. The ancestors are there. It's not that I'm manifesting the tree. The consciousness, the great consciousness is the one that manifests the tree, and is the one that manifests me here. So me as a small piece of this conscience, this big, divine consciousness, I'm understanding that the main consciousness is manifesting all these things. And for me, it is what it is. I don't think I have the ability to manifest a tree. I can just plant the seed. But it's different.
Well, in a way, it's manifesting a tree. Just manifesting it in a different way.
But I think really it is just all the spiritual journey for me, and the work with the plants or with any kind of spiritual process, because all the spiritual processes are important and powerful, and you can really learn a part of you from everybody. That is just taking consciousness of who you are, and your relationships. That's something that I really love from the ancient traditions, from the indigenous here. And they say, what is really important in your life is, family. And we're all families. So really the relationship that you have with everything is what is important. And that's the only way that you can really understand how spiritual you are. Because it doesn't matter if you're really taking medicine or practicing yoga or meditation or whatever you want to practice in your life. If you don't have really good relationships,
and what's the point of doing all the practice?
What's the point of calling you spiritual? If you still having resentments with your parents or with the neighbors or even with the people that attack you in the past, if you're still having those resentments, there's no sense. There is even people in the world that they have never practiced any kind of these spiritual practices, per se. They have never practiced yoga or meditation, or they never drink any kind of medicine, but they really can create good relationships in their lives.
I guess that's a mark of doing well, putting that into practice, even though they might not know they're putting that into practice.
That's the real goal of spirituality, of this human experience. The Master Jesus, he resumed all the religions at once in one phrase and says, love each other.
It's sort of the embodiment of love, isn't he? Of unconditional love.
Unconditional love with everything, with everybody. And that's why we really need to start embracing, I think, not just the medicinal traditions, but really embracing the traditional way that our ancestors used to live, that it was more really in touch with nature.
More simple.
Yes, in a more simple way to think. Understanding that we don't need too many things to, be happy. And that everybody deserves the same, and I think what really everybody deserves is, water, clean food, and place to live. Have a refuge, where you can really rest.
I agree. I feel like with all the advancement of society and technology and everything, we've become more divided in a way, because I guess it's the way that our society is structured, that we're always thinking about work and the future and currency and all these things that are happening and technology, that generally we're more divided. And I feel like maybe it was easier in the past when we didn't have all these things, because it's easier just to focus on what we have, focus on having food to eat or fresh water or, you know, just family around. But it seems like there's so many more layers of, I guess, information that we're constantly dealing with in modern society. There's more stimulus, there's more stuff that's constantly grabbing at our attention, and it's making us more divided and sort of pulling us away from our true essence, that we are a part of nature.
Yeah, I think what I can perceive is that actually there are more distractions. They give you the distraction just right in your hand.
Yeah. That you carry around with you in your pocket, and
you're carrying with the distractions everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and that's what is really the problem. I don't think the people is that, you know, the people really care. You know, the people is really, I believe really that the people have good hearts. The real problem is that you're just distracted. You're really distracted, and you need a lot of strength, you know, character strength, to learn to stop that, you know, and stop that and really face your reality. And the reality is not what is happening in the news and in the phone. The reality is what is happening really in your life, you know, in your relationships.
Yeah.
Where are you living in your neighborhood? There is really your reality in your house. What is happening in your house with your kids, you know, with your parents, with your siblings. There is really the work. So humanity needs a lot of strength, you know, to learn how to use it and manage in a good way, you know, the technologies. I don't think technologies are something bad or wrong, you know. For
tools.
some, yeah, it's a tool, and for some reason this divine consciousness allowed it to happen, and those things are here, you know. And in my personal experience, these technologies and, you know, these medicines saved the life of my son, you know. And so I'm really, you know, I know that how these technologies can really work in a good way when you're using it in a good way. Yeah. But the problem is that they are, you know, humans, because it's not the problem is not the technology. The problem is the human itself. You know? And we are giving these technologies without knowing how to use it. We are taking the power of these technologies without knowing how to use it.
Seems like our technology has exceeded our wisdom.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes more destructive. And we, like, when you look at, especially where we're going now with AI and everything, like, it's getting pretty, society is heating up and it's getting pretty chaotic.
Yeah, I think AI can be something good also if we know how to use it.
Absolutely, yeah.
If we really know how to keep it on limit, you know, we really learn how to use it in a careful way and in a smart way also. We cannot use AI to ask stupid questions. You know?
I do it all the time.
You know, we cannot. I think we can really use for research, you know, AI, for fun, maybe have some ideas, you know, help us to embrace some inspirations, you know. For me, I've been using a lot, especially with this permacultural, you know, project, to found some good ideas on how other projects are doing the work, and you know, maybe I can have the ideas in my mind, but I don't really know how to put it on a text, for example. I use the AI for those things, and it works and helps really good, you know. So if we really learn how to use in those things, I think it will be something really good. But I think that the only the only part that we have to be really careful with the AI is try to replace our relations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can see a lot these ideas and in movies and everything that people replace a partner for an AI, which
sort of sad though. Like,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I feel like that can't lead to any good. Maybe people think it's like a band-aid. It's like, oh, I'm so lonely. And, I'll just put a face on a robot and pretend it's my girlfriend.
And that's the problem really with the distraction, because as more distracted you are, it's more difficult really to be open to create relations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really what the people need, be open to create relationships, be open to make friends, be open to try, be open to start the conversations, be open to, make the call, send the message. Don't be afraid to knock the doors and see how it goes. We don't know really where we can really found the friends. How we used to make friends when we were childs is because we start the conversation. We say like, hey, "You want to play?"
Yeah.
Or just go sit in there and say, "Take the toy."
Yeah.
We really was really simple. We complicate a lot when we grow up.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been learning with my son. Like, he make friends everywhere he goes. He's not afraid to go and in the rooms and say hi to the people.
Yeah.
And start a relationship with somebody. And I think that's what people really need. Be open to start the relations, so we can really. I think as more strong we are as a society, because we think we are a strong society because we have money or we have a good city, but it's not. It's not. I don't think that it really matters that we have a good city or we have a good economic, system moving on where we live, if we don't know even the name of our neighbors.
Yeah. It's about the connections.
Yes, it's about the connections. And that's what these ancient traditions, they say. As more strong is the family, more strong we are. As more strong is the community, more strong we are. More strong is the connection. Nothing can really end here.
Yeah.
And it's what we need. That's what we really, really need as a humans. Embrace that connection as a communities. So we can really use it in a good way, and not because people is really now replacing, relationships for a phone, relationships for a computer, relationships for a TV, relationships for an AI, relationships instead for food or buy. The people prefer to buy that create relations.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's sort of like a duality to everything. Because on one hand, like, just when you look at social media and phones, it can act as a tool to enhance relationships and connect with more people. But at the same time, it has consequences where people just get sucked into it and they actually lose their relationships in the body, in the flesh, because they're not connecting with people anymore.
Yeah.
I think everything sort of has a shadow to it. So especially when talking with technology and AI, like, there's a good side to it, there's also a bad side to it. And I guess humanity, where we are, is learning how to navigate our society, technology, and everything that we have in a way that we're minimizing the consequence of it, or we're minimizing sort of like the bad effects of it. And, using things in moderation to help us, but not becoming reliant on them. Because when we become reliant on them, then it starts taking away something else.
Yeah.
There's always like an exchange that needs to occur, it seems.
Yeah. That's what I was saying before, that what really humanity needs is learn how to live in freedom. But that freedom takes a responsibility. And if we really want to use our technologies in freedom, we need to be responsible. And for be responsible, you really need to know how it works. For what are you going to use it?
And being aware of the repercussions and the dark side of it as well.
Exactly. You cannot be free and give the technology of a gun to everybody.
Oh, for sure.
But it's kind of the same what is happening, with the phones and the TVs and things like that. How you really are using it? Are you really using it in a good way? There is people that have a phone, and for me, it's something really incredible that humanity put it all the information in just one place. You can find everything there. If you search even how to fix your car, you're gonna find it. Everything. But the people, is not conscious about it. How you can resolve really a problem of your daily things is there. And you just have to put it on practice.
Yeah.
People really need to learn how to use it. No, it's not just for TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the key word, consciousness, like being conscious of the things you use and how you use everything.
Yeah.
And your relationships with different things. And, if you're conscious about it, then, you're going to use it in a better way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can really use it in the way that it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, one last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was going back to the conversation earlier when you're saying like everything's vibration. Well, what is your perspective of vibration? And like, how does vibration work to you? Because from my understanding, low vibrational states correspond with suffering, correspond with like dense energy, right? While high vibrational states correspond with like love and gratitude and like lighter energies. So everything is a manifestation of vibration in a way. Humanity, like our physical bodies, are also a manifestation of vibration.
Yes.
Yeah. How does that work? Is it?
For me, vibration is a pulse. So for me, the conscience, the conscience breathe. And in every breathe in and breathe out, there is a pulse. But it's a constantly pulse that never stops. So our body is vibrating, but it's not that just vibrating once. Comes and immediately in the next second comes another vibration and another and another and another, because it's alive. Is not alive in the way that we are living this experience. It's more in the life that have a conscience. Is really understanding what is happening. So because everything actually really is understanding what is happening, everything is vibrating, is pulsing to a conscience. So all the time these vibrations are like relating and connecting, and we're feeling it and we're moving in through those things. So I think it depends. I don't know if I can say like low vibrations or high vibrations, because for example, anger is a strong vibration.
But you wouldn't necessarily say it's like higher or lower.
No.
It's just beating harder.
Yes, but it's the way that you send it, that vibration. One thing is anger and another thing is courage, but it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
And with the courage, you can help others to empower. But with the anger, you don't do the same.
Yeah.
So my elders, they something that I understand, the way that I understood is that in these traditions in Spanish we say that we are flecheros. Flecheros, it means that we're sending arrows, the flecha, that is the arrow.
Okay.
So each pulse, each vibration is an arrow that you're sending to the universe. So all the time in each pulse, you're sending an arrow. Or what you can do is receive arrows, because our bodies or conscience give and receive,
Yeah.
all the time. So in this process of sending arrows, of receive arrows, is more the purpose,
Hmm.
how you are sending your intentions or your purpose to the everything.
Hmm. So, for example, if you feel jealousy at someone or something, you're sort of shooting arrows at that.
Is
Or
that
if you're
person
feeling anger
sending
or
arrows? Yeah.
resentment, they're all sort of like, even if you might not be aware of it, you're sort of sending that energy towards that person. Is that how that works?
Not necessarily, because you can. If you're saying if you feel so, if I'm feeling jealous to somebody,
Yeah.
I'm sending it,
Okay.
because it's not just that you said I'm gonna send,
For sure.
all the time is happening. The vibration is happening all the time, even if you're not aware of that. So all the time, this pulse of the consciousness is sending this vibration to the everything.
Depending on where you're directing it.
That's the thing. Most of the people is not consciousness to the directions that they're sending. So if you are not really conscious in what are you thinking, you are sending arrows to the universe of who knows what are you thinking.
Yeah.
And those arrows are you're sending to the universe. So if you are having you know a conflict in your mind, and you're not aware of that, because sometimes the mind just fly, you are sending those vibrations to the universe. When you're watching your phone, you are sending those vibrations to the universe, because there's where you're putting your attention.
Yeah.
But when you really start learning how to focus on yourself and take consciousness of that all the time, you're sending this vibration to the universe. The way that you start thinking, you start really taking responsibility, of the way that you think and the way that you feel, the way that you express, the way that you create, the way that you relate. Because everything is a vibration, everything is an arrow that you send. When you're not conscious, it's like sending this pulse, this vibration, this arrow. It's like sending an arrow to the sky and see what's happening.
Yeah. What about like love and energies that are positive or helpful or beneficial? Would you like perceive them as arrows as well, or like something else, or something like?
No, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's a vibration, it's a pulse.
But that's got to have like a positive effect, right? If you're sending out love, then that's sort of.
Yes, because the vibration is moving information. The arrow is sending an information. So of course you're gonna feeling when somebody is really hating you or loving you.
Yeah.
You can feel. That is that simple.
Yeah. And do you think karma ties into this as well? If you're constantly sending out arrows to the world and to other people, do you think there's a karmic influence there?
Well, karma is something that I been trying to understand myself. And I think karma is something that is more the law of cause and effect. If you cause something, of course, have an effect in your life or in somebody's life,
Yeah.
And because we are all connected, somehow that thing is gonna return to you.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Can be good or not good.
Yeah. For sure. Sort of like if you feel love and it's positive, then that almost is your karma because it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it's benefiting you by feeling that. And if you feel in resentment, then it's almost like that is your negative karma at the same time, because resentment is like a dense energy. It's not fun to experience.
Yes. It was something really nice that an elder used to say to me, that why we can understand that love is the most powerful energy or vibration in this world is because it gets bigger. For example, anger, you put anger in somebody else and maybe that person can share that anger to somewhere else, but there is a moment that that thing is going to stop somehow, with somebody dying or with somebody that you say like no more, you know. But love never stop. If you share love, that other person is going to share love. The other person is going to share love. It's going to get expanding more and more and more.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing everything and
Thank you so much.
having this conversation. It's been good to actually chat about these things, because I always have a lot of questions, and good to speak to someone who sort of works with medicines and to get your perspective of it. So before we wrap up, so you work with different medicines here at La Pacha. So what sort of medicines do you work with, and how can people find you if they want to do a ceremony?
Well, the medicines, there are different kind of medicines that we use here, but the specific prey that we have here in this space is, I think, what makes the difference. And the prey that we have here, or that calls the people to come here, is that here just come people that is ready to do the work. People that is really ready to embrace their responsibilities in their lives. You know, we don't share here medicine to the people that just want a psychedelic journey or psychedelic experience. We don't use the medicine in that way. We think that the medicine and the ceremony, like as a ceremony, is a moment to do agreements with yourself. So here we came in front of a sacred fire to make agreements. And the agreement is with yourself and with your life. And the only one that can realize if you are really committed with your words is you. So that's why we put a prayer in this space, that the people that is really ready to embrace that agreement in their lives and do their best to change their lives for their best, and can come here. And the master plants that we use often here is a lot of Wachuma or San Pedro and mushrooms, or childrens of light. We work a lot also with cannabis, with ganja. We think is another master plant, and we try to give it here to the space, the place that the plant deserves as a master plant, and use it in a ceremonial way. We work a lot also with the spirit of the tobacco in different presentations, you know, like praying with the tobacco, smoking, or using with rapé or with liquid tobacco. And those medicines, we use it in different ceremonies, you know. We use it in a ceremony just to be in touch with the medicine, you know, or we use it, for example, in Temazcals, or in the spaces for cleansing, like specifically just for clean, or in power walks, you know, places where you can really reconnect with the elements and understand, you know, the connection that we have with that. Or we use it in another ceremonies that is the in Spanish was the Siembra del Guerrero. How was in English?
Burial ceremony.
The burial ceremonies. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so
else
much.
You want to say? Or?
Oh, just the way that you can find us is we are now in a moment. We realize that you know, we are to the service of humanity, to the service of the light, but we are using customs as Romans. So we are using the tools of Roma to, you know, found the people, and through social media. So we are in social media, you know, as La Pacha Casa de Saberes, or a space that we have specifically for ceremonies, that is Kuyai experiences. And yeah, we're always available, to receive people here, and help them to embrace this whole journey, or support them in this journey of self-discovering, and understanding how we can really live in freedom in
Hmm.
these times of life.
Okay. I'll add the like Instagram accounts to the description of this, and if someone's feeling the call, they can contact you.
Yeah, all the information is there. You
Yeah.
can check. You can send us a message if you're looking for more specific information, because we also understand that each person have their own process, and so the people can feel totally welcome to message us or send us a mail explaining us their process,
Hmm.
and found a way that we can help.
Yeah.
And we are open, to try different things in during this training journey with shamans and elders from different traditions. I've been open to learn with ancient traditions, not just from here, from the Andes, from the north of America, from India, from China, from Europe. So yeah, the people really, there is like a bunch of information and experience that we have here that we can share with the people. It depends their process. Not
Yeah.
everybody needed the same.
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. It's individually tailored.
Yeah, some people sometimes can be ready, as I said, in some time with the medicine, but maybe what they just needed is somebody that listen.
Hmm.
And we are here for that also.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, once again, thank you very much, and
Thank you so much, Dan.
yeah, cheers. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Alrighty.